bankruptcy rates in households with childhood cancer are 260% higher than similar households without cancer. So I'm like, a lot of times we put so much focus and money into cancer research where there's an immediate need for families right now. Like, y'all trying to find a cure 5 years from now. Families are trying to find a way to make it through tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know that everyone knows this, but I think you are on the intro of one of the mixtapes. Am I right about that? I think so. In one of the mixtapes, it's your voice where I think you're introducing E and you're talking about, was it overcoming a broken leg or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it was from when I went back to visit my high school, because when I had made it to the NFL, I had went back to my high school to speak, and E just happened to be there. And I had knew E because my senior year in college, I just started going on YouTube and I was listening to all the motivational stuff. I had never did it before that year, but I was listening to Ray Lewis. I was listening to E.T. every night and before games. And I don't know, it just gave me a different perspective, right? Going into that last year is your last chance to really make things happen and make it to the NFL. So when I went back and I walked into the cafeteria, he was sitting there and I'm like, yo, what are you doing here? Like, I just saw you on Thank God It's Monday and now you're sitting inside the cafeteria. And he was like, yo, I want you to come up on the stage with me and speak. So we did that and we were able to build a relationship from there.
Dope. Okay, so what does it look like after the NFL? Like, what was the first thing that you did on a positive note where it was like, okay, this is going to be my brand. This is what people are going to know about me after the NFL, after baby girl got, just cured from cancer and everything. Now it's like, okay, now what? What was that first thing that you're like, this is it?
Authenticity, realness. Because I think that's what made our story stand out when Leah was battling cancer, because we weren't the first NFL player or sports or athlete to go through this type of battle. But for some reason, it just really connected with the hearts and minds of people all over the world. And I realized it because people got a chance to really see the authentic relationship between a father and a daughter. It helped bring an athlete, because sometimes we put athletes up on pedestals like they're warriors and nothing really bothers them. That because they're making a certain amount of money, they don't experience certain things in life. And people were able to see, like, we're just like everybody else. And that authenticity, I think, really connected with people. So I told myself that when I walked away from football, that I was going to build a brand based off of honesty and authenticity.
That's so good.
Yeah, I want to talk about the business for a little bit, right? Especially behind what may feel like an uncomfortable conversation for some, because, of course, you built your brand around a phenomenal cause, right? And it's standing up for cancer in a sense. But at the end of the day, you do need money, whether it's to bring back money to those who in need, just the medication and the resources for something like that. It's not cheap. So can you talk about how you maybe navigated that world of understanding you need to raise money, or there needs to be an element of a business, especially even though it's something that is for a good cause? You're not necessarily pocketing that money, but you need the resources. How did you navigate that opportunity there, or just that concept overall?
Yeah, so I looked at it as, as soon as the news broke that Leah had cancer, people kept asking me, do you have a foundation that we want to donate to, that we want to support? And I didn't want to just launch any type of nonprofit, because nonprofits are here today, going tomorrow. I needed to find a problem within the cancer community, because to me, that's really just an opportunity to really have an impact. And the more research I did, the more I spoke to other parents who was battling cancer, I realized that, parents who are going through this, they lose 40% of their annual household income due to cancer treatment work-related disruption. And I experienced that firsthand. I came out of college, I signed a $4 million contract. Leah got diagnosed my second year in the NFL. And then that contract got ripped up and I was paying for $600,000 that year. So it was like all that money that was guaranteed to me was now gone. So I understood the financial struggles of that. And then I realized that, bankruptcy rates in households with childhood cancer are 260% higher than similar households without cancer. So I'm like, a lot of times we put so much focus and money into cancer research where there's an immediate need for families right now. Like y'all trying to find a cure 5 years from now, families are trying to find a way to make it through tomorrow. So I realized that we had to do something to impact that part of the battle with cancer. So we started a nonprofit called the Still Strong Foundation, where we financially assist families who are battling cancer with household bills such as mortgages, car payments, groceries, gas, whatever we could really do to keep, families, take that financial burden off of families. And then we just use social media. We used our media contacts to push the story out to people to really pull at people's heartstrings, because people hold on to money unless you can find a way to just get them energized from their hearts and from their minds and their souls. And we just leaned on those relationships to build up our first nonprofit, which is a business in a sense. You just call it a nonprofit.
Cool.
Wow. There's a lot under that one for sure.
I was about to say, I feel like you have a follow-up. You want to go?
Yeah.
Go.
No, there's a lot to that. And I love that you kind of just spoke to it, because again, I think a lot of us think about business as only one way, but even in the way a nonprofit is traditionally set up, the people who are organizing the nonprofit or taking care of the day-to-day, they get compensated. You need to be compensated for the work that you're doing under that. Can you just kind of talk about that for those out there who want to build a brand? They maybe believe in a cause, but they're saying, no, there's no money in that, so I'm not going to do it. And they're almost, like you said, silencing their purpose in a sense because of the day-to-day responsibilities that they have. But you obviously figured out. Can you maybe just expand on that a little bit for those who might not know?
Yeah, I think Wallow said it best. It's money everywhere. There's money in everything if you really add value to it, because that's what people pay you for. That's what people give you money for, is the amount of value you add to the world. So for us, when you're trying to build something out and you don't really have the money, you have to find people who believe in your vision. And then you just give them everything else that's not monetary to pay them for the services that they're doing for you. And then once you get to a point where you're able to pay people, then you start to pay them. But at first, you just have to start off with people who understand the vision. They can see where this has the capability of going, and they actually believe in it. And they're going to work just as hard as they was getting paid a 6-figure salary. And then once y'all do reach a certain level, then you compensate them for the work that they put in for you.
Good moves. Good?
No, that's I was like,
I know when
people
it
need
gets
to hear
business
that
talk,
one, though.
you're like, hold on, let's stay right here. I ain't mad at it.